Human civilization stands at a precipice as we ask the question, are we alone? But once we discover evidence of an alien civilization and answer that question, it's going to be something that would be very difficult to undiscover, in that it could have profound effects on human cultures and how we see our place in the universe. But such a discovery would not be unexpected. Indeed, we've been searching in anticipation of finding evidence of alien civilizations for decades. But when it happens, what will first contact be like? Science fiction has taken on this question multiple times in movies like Contact or E.T., but the reality of first contact, should it ever happen, may be very different than how science fiction has generally depicted it. So here are 10 alien first contact scenarios. Number 10. Silent aliens. All too often, we tend to think that if we found aliens, they would want to talk to us. There is, in reality, no guarantee of this, however. Alien civilizations may not hide their existence, and can thusly be discovered through bio or technosignatures, but they may not know of our existence, at least until we send a dedicated radio signal to them. It's also possible that they may have no interest in interacting with us, deeming us either too primitive or too distant to make much difference to them. Part of why the concept of alien civilizations captivates us is because we haven't ever seen one, and our "are we alone" question remains unanswered. But what happens if we do find them? What might we think of the 47th alien civilization we find? Would the 234th alien civilization in the Milky Way even make the headlines? As such, only the most interesting civilizations found would be on everyone's radar, and we may not be interesting to anyone else. So we may find ourselves in the position of no contact at all, even though we've seen evidence of an alien civilization. As such, we are unlikely ever to know very much about that silent civilization, especially if the signal we pick up is something that carries no decipherable information, such as radar. We may be able to work out details of their home star system, or even their exoplanet of origin, but as to what they were like as a species and a civilization, we would know very little until we physically visit their star system. When we do, what happens then? Number 9. The Undecipherable Message. One of the big ifs in SETI is if we did receive an unambiguous contact signal from an alien civilization, would we ever be able to decipher it? There is no guarantee of this. This gets into both technology and linguistics. Humans that speak different languages still have a lot of tools, such as hand gestures or activities to get a point across. But what of huge interstellar distances and no linguistic, biological, technological, or sociological connections whatsoever? This has led scientists to think in terms of communication using science. The laws and behavior of the universe itself are basic commonalities we would have with alien civilizations. If they're technologically advanced, then they have to have an understanding of science to have gotten there, and as a result, they're probably also going to know what a pulsar is. They will understand some form of mathematics and so on. Within that may be the key to at least initial communication. But say they communicate in some way very different from us. Say they communicate chemically. We may never have a reference to figure that out. Without the key to their form of communication, we may never be able to figure out what they're saying even during a face-to-face first contact scenario. And likewise, they would likely find us equally incomprehensible. Number 8. Interstellar Semaphore. It was once said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. That may be true for interstellar communication as well. The defining factor here is efficiency. Sending out radio signals of, say, a human voice on radio takes massive amounts of energy to do at any real distance. Just to do it here on Earth with a radio station, you need to put thousands of watts into the signal just to be heard outside of your own city. This led to ideas that contacting other civilizations may not be done through radio at all, and in which case, SETI has barely looked at the galaxy. It might make more sense to simply block starlight in an unnatural way that someone else might see, and realize that what they are seeing is not possible in nature and must be artificially produced. This concept goes back to a scientist named Luke Arnold, who hypothesized in a paper linked below that an alien civilization might put up unnaturally shaped objects, such as triangles, squares, or even louvers. These could be made of thin materials such as mylar, or might even double as habitats and other useful megastructures for the alien civilization, while having a dual use as a means of telling someone else, so long as their telescopes line up with the transits of their megastructures, that they are not alone. Number 7. Ghosts of alien civilizations. Civilizations do not last forever. At some point, even if it's the end of the universe, it all comes to an end. But how long do they last on average? Is it thousands of years, millions, billions, trillions? This is an unknown, and it's very dependent on the social conditions of an alien civilization, as it does with us. If they have no reason to conduct warfare on their world, or they make good decisions as a rule, then perhaps they do last indefinitely, or they may not. It's easy to envision that as technology advances, new, very potent dangers like advanced artificial intelligence or superintelligence present themselves and effectively destroy everyone. Perhaps our universe is one where artificial intelligences war with each other and biology is left behind only as a vague memory. But our own civilization has something that is hit or miss in this regard. When you read a book written by an ancient person, whether it's from the world of the Greeks, the Romans, the records and poems of the ancient Chinese, this represents a telescoping of the ancient world into our modern world of today. The ancients speak to us through writing and archaeology. Could this be the case with the Milky Way galaxy? Is most contact between civilizations archaeological instead of active? Well, maybe. We have sent out artifacts of our civilization. Several probes, including the Pioneers and the Voyagers, included plaques intended to show anyone that might find them what we were like when the probes were launched, much in the same way that people in the present and the past created time capsules to tell people of the far future what their world was like. Could this happen on a galactic scale? Could the Milky Way be full of archaeological evidence and time capsules that answer the question of are we alone? Given the size of our solar system, if there are time capsules here or artifacts, if they aren't enormous, we wouldn't yet know about them, and likely will not know about them for some time. This is a true unknown still, and we literally have not looked for this yet. Number 6. They were already watching. We are relative newcomers to things like electricity and the advancing technology dependent on it, and we're even newer to the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or for that matter, radio. Because of that, until the last 100 years, it would actually have been very difficult for an alien civilization to even know there was someone here to contact. And there's also the possibility that we still aren't interesting enough to bother with. This could lead to a situation where they simply establish first contact as soon as we reach a certain level of development, or at least become detectable to the aliens. This ultimately means that not much further out than 100 light years, it's not yet possible for an alien civilization to detect a technosignature from this world. Within that distance, they might know we're here and have sent a contact message, but there simply hasn't been enough time for their signal to reach us. In truth, there could be all sorts of contact signals heading our way, but there's another possibility. Earth as an exoplanet has presented biosignatures for much longer of a period of time. The oxygen levels of this world, along with things like the vegetative red edge, where plants become highly reflective in infrared, could have tipped off an alien civilization that there is a biosphere here. If they've been observing for a very long time, they might know that our biosphere is very ancient, and perhaps likely to produce a civilization at some point. Given that they might have had billions of years to watch this world develop, that's plenty of time to send and station a contact probe within our solar system, or as Dr. Avi Loeb of Harvard advances, someone might create a network of strategically placed buoys to periodically check out worlds like Earth. And someday, should something like that start transmitting to us, having the alien transmitter nearby would help cut down communications times. Number 5. DNA SETI. It's a disconcerting thought that it's possible, though it doesn't seem very likely, that each and every one of us carries a purposely placed communication from an alien civilization within our own DNA. If at some point in the past Earth was visited, and that visiting civilization decided to send a message to any future intelligences that might arise, one way to do it is to encode evidence of their visit into the DNA of all life on Earth. This would not necessarily mean they intended to guide evolution or interfere in any way, rather they simply might have intended to use our own biology as a way to say hello. Whether evidence of this exists is a matter of debate. There have been claims, but they are not well accepted within the field of genetics. But the concept is at least plausible. Number 4. Unknown technologies. One argument that can be made as to why, through the efforts of SETI, we have not yet detected an alien civilization is that we simply don't know what to look for. There is no guarantee that radio waves or laser emissions are how alien civilizations communicate or establish contact with other species. If we were to go back only just a few centuries, no one would have any idea that wireless communication using electromagnetic waves would be, in the future, the dominant form of communications. It was unfathomable to those people. This may be the case for us as well, where we simply have not yet imagined the technologies that aliens might actually use. If that's the case, there could be contact signals all around us that we do not yet recognize as such, but may in the future, in which case first contact will have been staring us in the face the entire time. Number 3. Printable aliens. One of the biggest problems with any first contact scenario is how to do it meaningfully. Any dialogue, assuming a dialogue can be established at all, over very long distances will take time, a long time, to the point that a simple signal saying hello could take hundreds or thousands of years for a response. But there is another option if technologies we think may be plausible have been developed by alien civilizations. One example of this would be a civilization that has mastered its own genetics and commands biology and technology to such an extent that they might be able to send out a probe to an inhabited exoplanet, study it from close by, and when enough information is gathered, it either prints out a member of the alien species for contact or some kind of variant, or even a custom-built being best suited for the specifics of the first contact. Or, if that's not realistically possible, it could simply make a machine suited for the task and direct face-to-face first contact occurs by proxy through a robot. Number 2. Attempt no contact. One could say that actual contact with an alien civilization is different to a detection, in that a detection would merely constitute spotting the activities of an exo-civilization, rather than actually communicating with them. But there is one possibility that would be a first contact of sorts, or at least a message that would be a warning to attempt no contact at all. This could take a number of different forms and could be for a variety of reasons. Exo-civilizations may have in the past concluded that any contact with others always presents unnecessary risk, or we may simply spot a conflict in space between two other civilizations that lead us to conclude that we shouldn't attempt contact with either side in order to retain cosmic neutrality. Other options include stars whose compositions have been altered to reflect that the civilization that altered the star possesses highly advanced nuclear physics that could be used to create advanced weaponry, or even the detection of a weapon directly, perhaps in the form of a nickel Dyson sphere that could direct the collective energy of a star towards a region of a galaxy and effectively destroy anything that's there, though if that were going on in the Milky Way, we'd likely have spotted it by now. Number 1. Circumventing the speed of light. In most scenarios, two-way communication across great distances in the Milky Way takes too long at the speed of light for a meaningful two-way conversation to take place, at least in a reasonable amount of time. And, as of yet, no one has thought of a solid way to circumvent this problem. It seems as though the universe has a built-in prohibition on faster-than-light meaningful information transfer, including communication. While there are speculative loopholes out there that might allow faster-than-light travel and communications, each one suffers from significant problems. So it seems, at least right now, that faster-than-light communication might never be within our grasp. But there may be another way. Change the rate at which we perceive time. It may be possible in the far future through technology to change this equation. If your civilization collectively perceives 100,000 years as, say, 1 year, then apparent rapid communications becomes possible throughout the galaxy without violating the laws of physics. Other civilizations may do likewise in order to circumvent the speed of light through manipulating the perception of time. This alone might be a solution to the Fermi paradox, in that alien civilizations run so slowly and communicate so slowly that we simply haven't been looking long enough to notice evidence of them, even if they are everywhere. Thanks for listening. I am futurist and science fiction author John Michael Godier, currently coining the phrase near-asteroid Earths. If you think about it, we show a bias with near-Earth asteroids as we worry about them striking us. But what of the asteroids? Look, Earth is no angel and has eaten many thousands of asteroids in the past. If you're an asteroid in the right orbit, this planet represents one huge threat. And on that note, check out my books at your favorite online book retailer and subscribe to my channels for regular in-depth explorations into the interesting, weird, and unknown aspects of this amazing universe in which we live.